But let's go in the Bible, the best story of all, Matthew 24. And as you're turning there, I want you to think about how much of Christianity was based on people listening for a long time to words and exercising their minds to respond to those words. And I would like to encourage you. We live in a very graphic video age where what I'm doing right now almost could be filmed and put on Wikipedia as ancient teaching methods. You know, to have a person talking, one person talking in a lecture form, I mean, that is passé. You can't even do that in college anymore. I mean, you've got to have blazing screens and interactive stuff and sound and everything else. The church wasn't that way. People got letters. This book is a collection of letters that were written that people didn't even get a copy of the letter. They just heard it read to them. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine hearing Matthew read? Do you know how long it takes to read it? It takes about an hour and 20 minutes if you sit and just read it through. In fact, the whole Bible takes only 72 hours to read. Billy Graham said that, so I know it's true. You know, 72 hours for an average 8th grader. Now, I don't want to ask you this publicly, but just in your heart. How many of you don't? This is rhetorical. That means don't answer, because it would embarrass some, and it would make others proud. So we don't want any answers. But how many of you have invested 72 hours to hear everything God has to say? This is God's Word. He talks. In fact, I heard Him talking this morning. I heard the Lord talking between the trading post where we're staying above and the east side. In fact, my son was with me. You heard him talking too, didn't you? He was talking in our car because I play the Bible out loud. Sometime in the last election, well, I don't know when it was. It was when the Lewinsky thing was. Boy, that was a long time ago. How long ago was that? It was too recent. You know, I mean, that was awful. But the Lewinsky thing, and I was listening to Rush, and Rush was describing in graphic detail the Monica Lewinsky thing. I'd never heard stuff like that talked about out loud in my whole life, and I was late 40s. So I indignantly turned my radio off, and I thought, what a waste of time to listen to Rush and Hannity and O'Reilly and, you know, all conservative, but hear them talk about stuff that shouldn't be talked about in public. In fact, it shouldn't be done, shouldn't be talked about, period. So I thought, oh, Lord, what can I do about that? And I thought, my son has this iPod thing. I'm going to ask him if the Bible can get on that. And it can. And so my son set me up with a little iPod and this monster thing that goes in the cigarette lighter, and it plays through the radio. The whole Bible. And it only takes 72 hours to listen to it. Did you know I listen to the Bible about every 4 months just driving? As a pastor, I drive that much. And I no longer know about any of the scandals. I don't know how bad Hillary is. I don't know how good McCain is, or whatever your orientation is. But what I do know is that I've clocked the Bible through again so far this year, just driving. I mean, I listened to a couple chapters between the trading post and the east side and back. 2 chapters. It's unbelievable. You know what else? I never know when there's tornadoes in Oklahoma because I don't have the radio on. And so I'll get to work or to the church, and all the cars are underneath the overhang. They're all up into the bushes, and everybody's huddled downstairs. And I come and say, "Why is no one working?" They said, "There's an F4, you know, at 91st in Yale." And I go, "Oh." And so I do have dings in my car because I don't listen to the radio. But you know what I have that they don't have? I hear God's voice. So I would encourage you, whether you like to read, read holding a book, or just listen. For a small investment, at Walmart, you can buy an MP3 player for $39, and you can get free audio Bible online. There are groups that offer free downloads, the whole Bible read chapter by chapter. You don't have to pay a dime. Just buy a device, download it, put it in your car, and stop listening to the weather, which you can't do anything about, and stop listening to the politics, which you should pray about and not hear all the gory details, and vote, and let the Lord do what He will, because He's the one that really puts them in. He actually put Bill Clinton in office. God did. Not the Democrats or the American people. God put him in. And He's going to put Hillary or Obama or McCain or a Soviet dictator. Doesn't matter. He's going to put them in. And Christianity is not residing alone in America, and we are not the center of the universe. And what happens in our politics really doesn't matter, even in Michigan or Oklahoma. What matters is that you hear God's voice. So I wasn't even planning on speaking on that. Let's go and hear His voice, okay?